One of the other things I want to mention was I once wrote an article about the champion's mindset. You mentioned mindsets just a second ago, Carson. It's on LinkedIn. It's one of the articles I once posted. But from a perspective of as a champion, you have to have certain things that you think about, and you have to focus in on having a desire to win, being able to want it more than everyone else, being relentless, having a healthy obsession with winning. Then you have to excel. You have to have a laser focus on the goal. You have to be able to always be excellent. They say always be selling. I say always be excellent. Focusing on being excellent in everything that you do. And then being bold in your decision making, being bold in what you do. The third area is preparation. Being coachable is so important to be successful. Being able to practice makes perfect. Things like that is, the best athletes, the best people that are champions out there are practicing. Some of the greatest basketball players, like Kobe Bryant, talked about how he used to go to the gym way before anyone else and would leave after everyone else too. And that's how he was better than everyone else. Rest is important. I think taking care of yourself during this time is very, very important. Having a good balanced schedule, having work-life balance is important. Treating your body like a temple, making sure that you're taking care of yourself. The fourth element that I look at in this mindset is thinking, being mindful. I think mindfulness is very important today. At Google, there's actually a training that they do for all their employees to teach them mindfulness. And I think if you haven't looked at mindfulness yet, I think it's something you need to look at. Remaining calm under pressure is very, very important. Staying positive is very important. Being disciplined is important. And then being present from that perspective is very important. I think the next element that I try to talk about is sacrifice. Being willing to make sacrifices for your success. Even in this time and any time, it's always important to be able to make sacrifices. Then being a great teammate, I think, is essential. Playing your role, whatever that is, as a role player, they win championships because they have very specific roles. They might not be the all-star, but they're still a champion because they know their role. Some roles are to be a superstar, and you're going to be Michael Jordan. But Michael Jordan's not Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen. And they're not going to win that game without Steve Kerr to hit the three. Or Dennis Rodman to pull the rebounds and to be the bad boy. So it depends on the team, and everyone has a role to play. So just know you have a role in the team. And then leading from behind and leading from the front is very important. And keeping it real in terms of being sincere and honest. Being organized. I think organization is very, very important. Coming early, leaving late, as we mentioned earlier. And then the next area which I focus in is believing. I think belief is so important. People of faith, Carson, this is something that's core to our tenets, but you have to accept responsibility. You have to believe in things that happen. You have to show no fear, and believe in what's possible. Always obviously believe in yourself and what you can do, and go from there. When you recognize, what your deficiencies are, focus in on those and improving those things, you're only going to get better. So I think whether it's a championship mindset, whether it's a growth mindset, whatever mindset you decide, focus in on these key things, make yourself better, focus in on always improving, no matter what happens, whether there's COVID or no COVID. If you're focused on improvement, focused in on doing the best that you can, focused in on doing the right activities, focused in on really believing that you can make things happen, you'll be surprised by just what that can change. So, I mean, that's just something that I'd add there. Well, Carson, when it comes to mindsets, I know there's a lot out there that are out there, and what specific mindset do you like to sort of focus in on and think adds a lot of value to the way that you do things?
Yeah, I can't top your list because it was amazing, and I think you got to challenge yourself to ask, where can I turn up the dial on some of the areas that you just said. But I can tell you that where my career changed dramatically for the better, I thought that I was really effective as a leader and a seller at a much younger age. But where my career really took off was when I started really proactively looking for where I could selflessly add value to everybody that I interacted with in the food chain. So colleagues, understand how they get paid, what matters to them. If you're working with somebody on the same team, understand their pay structure too. Understand what do they want out of their career. Specifically even with a manager. We all have managers. Some of them are just phenomenal. Some of them, maybe we struggle to get along with them. But no matter what, understand what they care about. What are their motivating factors? Because if you show that you care about that and you speak to it when you're together and you proactively look for ways to help them get where they want to get, guess what? Your relationship there is going to get stronger. And then lastly, obviously, and very importantly with a customer, it's the same fundamental. Customers want to win. That's all they care about. And they have very likely tried different methods of doing what you're proposing to do. And some of them have worked, some of them haven't. Well, why is yours different? And I think the problem is we go in a lot of times just trying to say, hey, we've got this and it does this, this, and this. And these are the types of results it's getting for people. Well, you're going in not understanding anything about this customer's history. You don't know anything about what it is going to take to get them to a win, what their responsibilities are. So you got to get to know them first and really invest in that relationship. And I think a lot of times, because, especially right now, because I have the ability to introduce them to people all over a relatively large organization, that's the value that I bring. I can come in and say, look, I represent your team. And I'd love to figure out what conversations you're really going to benefit from. Are there things that you'd like to explore? What are your priorities? What are your pain points? What projects are upcoming? How can I really get at the heart of that and figure out, okay, where might I be able to add value? And especially even like free value. People like it when you come to the table and you say, these are resources that you're entitled to. Let me bring these to the table, because that might get you the discussion. And because you went under that pretense, you can talk about whatever you want. So deliver that value and then start asking discovery questions. Fundamentals is what it's all about. And as far as a mindset, have the mindset of being a servant, be it as a servant leader, be it as a person that is going to bring value. You are the evangelist of your brand and you're your customer's advocate. It's your job to understand what they're going through so that you can go back to your organization and tell that story internally so that you can get more resources to bring to them. That's how deals happen. Deals don't happen because you float a structure and a price that looks like a cookie cutter program. Deals happen because you figure out ways to partner and collaborate. And if you go in under a collaboration mindset and, like you said, a way to make the team work, and you also understand that even with social selling, there's no silver bullet. There's no, you just use LinkedIn and you reach out to people and things are magically going to fall into place. It's all about staying top of mind and staying at the pulse of what's going on with the customer. It could be setting up alerts so that you're alerted every time something happens with that organization and it goes to your email. It could be subscribing to your business journals. It could be customizing your sales navigator feed so that you can see different things that happen with some of these leads, and then you act. You use that as actionable information. It could be maybe your organization has leads or marketing insights or a variety of different things. You've got to set up the platform to make it work. And you can't discriminate against, the 9 other things that could bring you actionable data in order to reach out to a customer with. You've got to understand where they're coming from. And there's 2 ways to do that. One, by keeping up with everything that is going on and the information that you're fed, but also talking to people. And that's why social is so important, because you can create relationships, gather intel, and based on all of that, you can make things happen.